So on June 24th, I was 30 seconds away from my last breath, and I didn't know it. I was mountain biking up at Horsetooth, up behind us, and started off the morning just like any other morning. I've been mountain biking for about 15 years. I had just completed finishing the steepest part of the ascent, which is the top of South Ridge where it meets Wathan Trail. And right around there I noticed having some fatigue that I've never had before. Just thought, man, what's wrong with me today? Had to get off my bike, walk it a little bit, and I thought, dang, how long is that gonna cost me? Got back on my bike, came around a curve. I was probably 3/4 of the way down, jumped off my bike, and this is where the symptoms really started flooding in. Numb arms, nausea, I was shivering, but I was hot. I was cold and I was sweating. It just, nothing made sense. Pull out my phone and look at it, and I saw that I had 1 bar of reception left. And the reason why I said I was 30 seconds away from my last breath is you lose reception if you keep going down the trail.
So the assumption a lot of people I think make with 911 is that they think the dispatcher always just immediately knows where they are. It's not always the case. Landline technology was great back in the day, but not many people have landline phones anymore.
So I had 1 bar of reception, called my wife. She just heard my excessive breathing. I could not catch my breath. And she said, I need to call 911. Their first question, which I always thought was, what's your emergency, is actually, what's your location? And that became a problem.
Like in an incident like this, the natural areas and the trails can be so complex, and if you don't remember where you started from or where you ended up, it's something that not a lot of people think of outside of the emergency services world.
All I knew was I was on Wathan. Well, Wathan is several miles long, and it's hard to articulate exactly where you're at. So my brother, who was on the other line on speaker, could hear that and knew that I was tracking it because I was tracking this ride, and he said, Dave, stop your Strava and that'll upload your beacon as to where you are. That was one of the things that helped him figure out exactly where I was.
Dave was able to relay to me exactly where he was and how he got there, which made it a lot easier for our crews to get to him. So we got folks started up that direction, but what was really important was figuring out which trail he was on, and I believe he was on the Wathan Trail at the time, and we were able to work that out.
One of the crews found me, and again, I still thought it was just indigestion. Well, when the EMS team comes up, and Deb was her name, started hooking things up on my chest. I had seen in the distance, you know, the helicopter flying around. And I just said, what's with the helicopter? And they said, oh, we put that up for backcountry calls just in case sometimes. Deb looks up to me, makes eye contact, and she goes, it's your heart, and you're getting on the helicopter. All those crews came together, again, EMS, PFA, and the Rangers, started wheeling me down Wathan over to Towers Road, down where we met the chopper, and I was handed off, given some hugs, entrusted my bike to someone else, which was tough. So what hit me that morning, June 24th, was completely out of the blue. Didn't expect it. In fact, I would say that I wasn't even aware of what to look for. I was a very uneducated person as far as what to pay attention to, something that would change pretty quickly in a matter of about 24 hours. Never had any issues with heart or physique, clotting, lungs, or anything. Just super thankful to be here. You don't realize the value of a lot of first responders, unfortunately, until you really need it. And I think that's similar with law enforcement, military, EMS. Go down the list. There's a plethora of service-based support that's built into our government, that's built into our systems into our city, into Fort Collins, into northern Colorado that we often don't see. And I'm so grateful that they're there behind the scenes, odd hours, overtime hours, in any situation, through any land, any weather. You know, what they go through and what they train for is to help others. And when you're the recipient of that, it is humbling immediately. And I will always be indebted and eternally grateful to those teams that reach out and work to serve others.
The tools are out there, but you have to be prepared to know where you are at all times and know that you're getting help to the right place. Thanks to that technology, it made it a lot easier to find him. His knowledge of the trail system was fantastic. The fact that he was able to utilize the resources that he had really helped us. I mean, it took a long time, but I'm really glad that the outcome was as positive and as good that it was.
You've just witnessed firsthand the high level of training and commitment and dedication from Poudre Fire Authority members and all of our partners that respond to emergencies within our jurisdiction. One thing that we urge everyone is make sure that you know CPR, your friends, family, co-workers, because you never know when that type of emergency is going to exist. If at any time that you feel that you should call 911, we recommend that you do to get help on the way early and as often as possible. At Poudre Fire Authority, we train every day for these types of incidents, so we are prepared and able to respond to provide the best level of service for you to have the best outcome, no matter what time of day or what emergency that you encounter, to provide the best level of service possible.